Okay, thank you to be there for the last workshop. We were talking because we will see if we modify the organization according to who is on which group. Okay. So first, we'll present you the program of the workshop and the colleagues that will help you. So this is my next slide, and then we will see what are the groups. So the objective of this workshop is to continue to contribute to our work on the drafting of the strategic research agenda for more biodiversity-friendly transport infrastructures in Europe in the context of the BISON CSA. So, objective for you stakeholders, we want your feedback on the relevance, importance, understanding, or other points on the proposals we have put in our list in order to improve the draft. So the program is the organization. We will do that. Then we have 30 minutes working in groups, so 5 or less, we'll see, with, where are they? So I take Alix, where is Alix? Alix. Ivo, sorry, I put a O, I don't know why. No, Ivo, Ondine, Odi, sorry. Nicolas and Jiri. Yeah? So with them, those that have done their homeworks, as we said, you will identify an exchange on to discuss research actions that are in your list. You will, in your groups, under the supervision of the moderator, you will have also a rapporteur to elect in your group. And after this 30 minutes, you will draft, the rapporteur and the moderator will help to draft the synthesis for each group. And then the rapporteur will summarize the main outcomes of his group, so in 4 minutes. Okay, so the other can relax a little bit. And we have then to finish an open discussion on all outcomes and maybe some suggestions from you during 15 minutes before to end. Okay, so the first point is to know who has worked on list 1. Raise hand. And who is in charge of group 1? Alix. And who has list 1? How many people are you? 1, 3, 3, 4. Okay. So we will have, can you stand up, because we will have to move the tables in order that you can work together. We will separate the tables. We will see that case after. So first, we will. So can you go close to Alix, of list 1, and then we see the groups. List 2. List 2. Say with Ivo then. So you make a group with Ivo. Okay. List 3. 1. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you. Okay, with Ondine. Okay, so it's a small group. This one. So that we can see. We move. Who have a list? Ouais. Who have not a list? 1 with Alix. 2 with Ivo. Move, because we have to move the tables. So So yeah, we start. Okay, we can start? Yes, we can start the reporting group by group? Okay? So, okay. So, Alix, you have 4 minutes. And it is recorded. Okay? Yes? Less if you are finished before. But no more.
That's a challenge. Okay.
Thank you, Alix.
Yeah. Okay, so we have had interesting conversation and assessed 3 research actions which do not need to be discussed, and then 5 of them which need to be discussed, and the wording also needs to be changed. Some of them actually, one of them should be taken out. Since we are not having the same list of questions, do you think, Denis, I should just go into details of the research questions, because it might take some time?
I think if you can specify the questions that pose problems.
Okay. There was, for example, one about benchmarking of nature-based solutions and civil engineering solutions applicable to the design, construction, and maintenance of transport infrastructures, in order to classify technical, ecological, and economic respective interests. All right? Okay, I only have 4 minutes.
There can be problems with questions that are too wide, for example.
So in this case, we discussed, okay, what actually benchmarking are we looking at? When we say benchmarking, we look at existing nature-based solutions, which does not include research, innovation. And I think, we think in this research action, we should also include the beyond state of the art, and provide clear explanation of the needs, and also clarify people's mind, because now we put everything into nature-based solutions, but what is behind, what is the objective behind, what the people, what do they want, and why do they want nature-based solutions? Yeah. Then there was also some merging on some questions. So yeah, this is yes. Also, we talked about the key performance indicators. It's important to evaluate the success of actions. So, for example, here we have making explicit and measurables all the expected social benefits, quality, quantity towards biodiversity around transport infrastructures, in order to take them into account in the assessment of the area of ecological influence of transport infrastructure projects.
So you don't like long questions.
Just to make it more simple, the question try. Just when we discussed about that, it was also how can we have key performance indicators that are not totally economical key indicators, and because for biodiversity we have also to address non-economical issues, and that cannot be estimated with data or with it was also what we had behind, but we discussed much more.
Okay. Last point
yes,
about the I will be short. The stakeholders, it's mentioned several times in the list, and it was also a need to clarify who is behind stakeholders. So we have decision makers, but we have other groups, and yeah, that was important to highlight.
You. That will be specified in the top of the area. Okay, we will define. Thank you, Alix.
Thank you.
Can we move to list group 2? This is the groups.
Okay, so it is up to me. We have 5 favorites on the green side, and I think 3 on the red one, which look quite well, and we don't think it deserves much more discussion. But these green ones, which must be discussed, it will be also sometimes very tricky to even read the action. So we have something like development of solutions intended to combine monetized and non-monetized parameters of transport infrastructure, project assessment in order to allow comprehensive and fair assessment, notably as regards biodiversity. And we have so much time that we even proposed a new wording of this. So we have now assigned economical value to biodiversity to ensure it is compared fairly with other TI costs. So this number one. We didn't discuss yet new wording for others, but we have here another nice examples of long and complicated actions, like development of shared criteria, methodology and scale aiming at scoring the biodiversity care of transport infrastructures, operators and technical solutions in order to inform decision making at all scales, Europe, local, institutions, individuals, and guide innovation. Yeah. So another one. Development of win-win cooperation with local stakeholders interested in the beneficial use of rights of way in order to implement a most efficient biodiversity-friendly management. And I think we are at number 3, so number 4, pros and cons of 4A. Natural land cover and topography fauna passages versus B, artificial wildlife crossings like bridges and tunnels to ensure efficient ecological transparency of transport infrastructures. And we still have one. And the number 5 for us is setting context, circumstances and threshold values of threat on biodiversity for which, due to intractable difficulties, solutions to maintain or move species out of the transport infrastructure area are a preferable strategy to mitigation measures in order to ensure effective and sustainable protection of species, avoidance of counterproductive effects such as mortality, trapping, contamination. So
yes, thank you.
This is number 5.
Okay.
And probably this really needs to be changed somehow.
Okay. Yes, according to the smiles, I see that we have to shorten the wording. It's difficult because, of course, in the examples of SRA we have, yes, the sentences are shorter, but they are more specific, and we have to find. We have to on one end, we want to avoid misunderstanding, and the other end, we have to avoid being too long. Okay. Thank you, Ivo. Group 3, Léa. Thank you.
Yes. So, right. So the points that were mainly raised were regarding the economic policies objectives. So the one with the polluter pays principle, we agreed that it was important, but that it was also very complicated and controversial, not only in research but also to implement. And the second one was the assessment of the potential action on price in transport that could positively mainstream influence the care for biodiversity. And yes, same thing as polluter pays, it would be quite complicated to assess. And the points that we thought were not to be discussed because very important was the assessment of laws in place at European and national levels, just to make sure that they weren't contradictory to each other. We all thought that, a lot of us thought that it was very important. And the need to set mandatory data that need to be provided by the infrastructure stakeholders in terms of monitoring. So yes.
Assessment of what you said? Of losses?
The last point?
No, before. You said one, among the non-to-be discussed, there were assessment of losses?
Laws.
Laws?
The laws and regulations.
Ah, laws, okay.
Yeah. 530.
Okay, so thank you. Group 4. So.
Thank you. Yeah, we had some questions that we thought was really clear, so I won't report them. I will go through those that we addressed to be discussed. Let's see where to begin.
Do you want we start with group 5? Well, you are ready? If you want to more time. No?
No. So we had one challenge here that was talking about to be able to identify the resilience of different species to disturbances as light, different pollutions and disturbances, but also to look on the thresholds. So we thought it was needed to be discussed, and we wrote that important to first look on the thresholds and secondary look on the resilience, because the thresholds will be more important. We also discussed the assessments of the induced effects on biodiversity when you look on transport sector, and include that we need to have a different energy supply. We said this is really important to further discuss, because it can be really hard to predict the results in the long term, and it also will differ a lot between even regions, but definitely different countries. So it could be hard to draw strong overall conclusions. We also agree that on the last question here that needed to be discussed was this assessment frameworks, looking on cumulative effects. We said that it's really important, but it's really, really hard. But it's, if we don't manage to take into account the cumulative impacts, it will be hard to be sustainable in the long term. Yeah, we also had this that we need to work out a limited number of indicators for infrastructure on biodiversity loss, so we can facilitate the understandings of the stakes at large scale by all stakeholders. It's like framing what's a sustainable infrastructure is. Yeah, I think that. And we also look. Yes, this one was also something that needs to be looked more to under discussion. Today, when we talk about fragmentation, we're talking about the populations, individuals, but we rarely talk about the genetic fragmentation. But it's really important to address these questions in the long run. It will be hard to say at which level, what taxonomic level, because it might be impossible, at least today, to look at every species considering these questions. Thank you.
Thank you. The question of genetic fragmentation was among your list, or you consider it's missing because it's somewhere?
It's here.
It's in. Okay. So thank you. So group 5.
Well,
Antonio.
We follow a slightly different approach. Each one of us voted, so there was not total agreement in any of the items. But there were 2 items that are very closely related, on which we have 3 votes to be discussed. It's are related with the right-of-way management. We think that they can be a very important way to offset negative impacts of biodiversity, but we need to set indicators in order to select what to do, because managing rights of ways is different when roads cross a forest or cross an intensive agricultural area, the role of the right-of-ways is different, and then also to select indicators to monitor. These are the points 544 and 718. Then we have two agreements on 2 points, on two important points. One is that it's important, the communication with stakeholders. It's important. So we also highlighted 392 and 589 in order, because we need to have this input and to know how to communicate with stakeholders. I think this is meant. Some of us think this is a problem in linear transportation infrastructure management. I'm sorry. There are another items that was selected twice. 199, development of an adaptive management of transport infrastructure and work sites in order to comply with the temporary need of movement of long-distance migrating species in certain vulnerable local species. It is important to rely adaptive management. As far as I understood, it's as far as you have more data, you will change your rules, so you're getting better and better in managing that. And long-distance migrating species. Long-distance migrating is a key issue in genetic, in maintaining genetic flow and genetic diversity. So I think, I don't know exactly why these two people choose this, but I think that this made reason. Please correct me from my group if I'm wrong. Then we have this agreement. We also have agreement on, for three of us, down the one issue that should not be discussed, and that is the political issue. Assessment of the current public policies at European and national level in view to identify correct any defects that can result in the detrimental. Well, I will not read this, but seeing that this analysis or this assessment may be biased, because sometimes statistics don't reveal what really happens. So you can have very nice figures saying, okay, you are doing very well, but then performance in the field doesn't match what is in statistics. And doing these assessments, if you rely on official documents, you can be biased towards political, to be nice to politicals and don't match what really matters. I think. And also this may be lots of information that may be needed to properly assess, and maybe it cannot be easily done. I don't know if please add something, because you are the political one here. We are three researchers, I think, in ecology and one in political sciences. So we have this.
We are listening to you. Yes. So.
It was more about a disagreement about the use of assessment of public policies. And so, as you may have understood, like, I defended the utility of assessing them, and the others might not have defended them. So it's just like we have different point of view on the utility of assessing public policies, but I guess it's just something that we need to discuss a little bit more, just to talk about what actual assessment of public policies in political sciences means.
Thank you, Caroline.
Okay.
And then just to show another example, we have one of the items. We agree. Half of us, one agrees and the other does not agrees, and that it's stimulating professional recognition for biodiversity management by the companies. You think that we believe that people should be recognized, but that should not be the rule, because we have to be recognized in every job you have. Concerns biodiversity conservation or other things. So this special thing for biodiversity will not be, well, good. It's not. People should do their work the right way. They don't need recognition. Also, they need recognition, but they need recognition also in other areas.
Yes, but I think I can explain this, for example, not all, but this one, because I know. This is about, yes, we are in the technical world with operators, with question of security, money, technique, civil engineering, and people taking care of plants, animals, despite their industrial politics into the organizations. Maybe these people that are in charge of these questions, do not have the recognition in terms of the help to develop their work, the career, and the progress comparative to others more classical profiles.
We just have to give them the conditions.
Yes.
And if you have the conditions, they do it well. And
Yes, but the question, yes, is about the conditions,
Yeah.
why they don't have. Okay. Thank you, Antonio. So, very good, because these two talks, they open the last step, the general discussion about some things you are not happy because it was too short to talk, and you have heard the summaries of other tables. So now we have 15 minutes for an open discussion about all the outcomes you have heard about suggestions about the methodology, missing points, etc. And if you have heard some points from another table, you go on. Now you are free to talk about anything you like to, and we record. Well, yes.
One thing that I noted in this group, it's very important the background of the people in order to choose this. Some
Yes.
of us are more researchers on ecology, and other ones are managers. And at least I think we can see that we have different views, different priorities. So the main thing how to converge to have the main priorities be recognized by the different persons with different jobs and with different.
Yes, but this is more or less what we had at the beginning of this task in BISON, where the purpose was to ask to everybody what were their ideas about what's necessary for more biodiversity-friendly transport infrastructures, independently from where they belong for their career, for their initial formation, etc. Yes, that looks a mess, but also it's a melting pot, and we have to find solution in this melting pot. Charlotte, yes?
There is a link between table 1 and 2. We raise also the point on the value of biodiversity. So I think maybe we could merge some research action there. I don't remember actually what exactly you were saying, but for us the idea was to how to integrate this question, the question of the value of biodiversity that is non-monetarized in the impact assessment. And I think you were saying quite the same in your summary. So I think, yes, we could merge those two questions. Do you remember what was it?
Because there was one that I didn't mention, which was also what it was, setting clear biodiversity protection objectives, but it's not that.
I think that was more the comment from Yannick, the value of biodiversity.
Then that's the, isn't
monetarized or non-monetarized,
KPIs, I think. But we put it several places actually. That must be this one. I think I mentioned.
One comment about this, the problem also with our SCRA is that it is a margin field. And there are questions that are related to civil engineering, and there are questions that are related to the big field of biodiversity. And we also we put the rule to tackle just what is at the intersection, and otherwise it is a huge list of longer list of questions. You can now. You are ready.
Yeah.
Table 1. Yes.
with okay, it will be a two voice with Alix. So we confirm that within our approach, it also include also those KPIs. Also, it's also a balance between economical, societal, and environmental indicators that must be also approached in an integrated way to have a more global view. And what we had also in mind, it was also that the topic of infrastructure in biodiversity was also really more territorial topic that must address not only biodiversity isolated in a silo, but biodiversity entangled with other actions and decision process. And it's also one of the challenge to find things, because when we are evaluating the success or not of policy, of actions, we are also mostly focused on one indicator, economical, societal, but not, it's really hard to find ways to have some balance between them. And for sure, social sciences have a lot of things also to bring within from that point of view for the mainstreaming of biodiversity within different policy and steps of the life cycle of infrastructure. Am I right to reflect the discussion that we had? Okay.
Lisa, you have a question? It seems to? No? No, yes, Andreas?
Half of my group has already left, but I think I noticed that okay, thank you. I noticed that there was some parallels in the how we evaluated the importance of the economic aspects. So we had a question about the polluter pays principle, and I think this was my impression, that maybe we have to focus more on the interface between the economic aspects and biodiversity. There's certainly a need to develop better methods so that we're not only trying to translate biodiversity values into money.
Relative to this question of polluter pay principle, I think, yes, I agree with you, because at a given moment to have effects, this has to be turned into money. But I think we have, if we compare with from the polluter pay principle that comes from the water management, I think we have to define tables, like they have in the water management, with criteria and thresholds that was said also, to at least to fix the price of the damage. We have, I think this is to our part to do these tables, and we have a work on the table for that. That's interesting. I think very interesting.
Yeah,
this
yes,
part.
yes. Okay.
For me, as we have to draft, I would like to have your point of view on the wording, the way to present things. Once again, if other SRA, they are in the pre-existing fields, not mixing fields that as we have. So my first drafting was to have something really implicit with shorter sentences, considering that someone reads a proposal, an action, and if he is interested in, if that regards him, he understands what's the research inside, and otherwise he passes his way and goes to the next, etc. With the time, we have increased the size of the question in order to make them explicit for everybody. But according to your smiles, I think it's not the good solution. And so I would, if we have time, we still have some time, 5 minutes. Really, that would help me and us to have your comment on that point, because in the end, the SRA has to be used by not specialized persons.
I think with the questions, length is not the problem per se, but it's trying to bring in too many different things into the question. If that makes, there's too many elements or too many topics in the question is the problem, not the length itself.
there are also, Thierry has gone, but Yannick is there? Yes. We have practical considerations also. An SRA is more or less 100 proposals. This is the size. So maybe we have to improve, maybe there are still recurring proposals that we have to check. So this is more or less the size, 100, 120 maximum. Otherwise, it's too long and it's not manageable neither. I think also a solution should be, we have talked about infographics, to somewhere in the document to show, because there are some questions that are inside other questions, there are some questions that are sister questions, etc. Maybe we have to also to make some graphs, we have codes, and to drive readers from one question to another if you want. Because with a practical problem, people, they have to be experts, and they have to find in the list all the elements they have to manage and to combine to solve an actual problem. So that was an idea I had. I don't know if it's a good idea or not.
Sorry, just for the length, I think what was also making us smile is that to read them out loud is quite long, but I think when you read them on your own, it's not that long. Maybe some points are very large and so more hard or ambitious than others, but in terms of wording, I don't think that it was hard to understand. But,
yeah. I also think that a hierarchical structuring of these questions can be very helpful. You have the themes already, you have overarching themes, so just make them more detailed in several steps, so that it will be easier to identify. You have which kind of questions and problems are actually meant with the specific
yes, sorry, maybe I don't have it. Yesterday I showed that, yes, in fact, I don't have it, sorry, forget this. This is not the idea. Okay, come back to the white. Yes, in the final document, that will be a file, and that's true. Today, the idea was not to influence you, with no teams, nothing else regarding the infrastructures, the stages, etc. Because when in the end, we have a proposal of research action, and then it is defined, on the right side, we have what are the infrastructures that are concerned, what are the stages of a life cycle, what are the teams also that will be defined before, and and this is also a step we have to solve for the next month. Is it to be solved in the 5, 10 or 20 years to come? So there will be, but the idea today was not to influence you with teams, etc.
So we can congratulate all the team.
Yes, thank you. Yes, really, thank you. It was difficult to have you. You have seen what we had to do yesterday to have you, and thank you very much to give your time to us.
Yeah, but it's really a huge job that you have engaged within this work package, and so congratulations to all the work package team that is really deeply involved since months on months to deepen and really to stabilize the knowledge that will also be addressed in the future. So once again, congratulations.